He talks with this humble hermit on an island. He either knows how to walk on water or is trying to learn it, comes bounding over the water saying, excuse me, what was that last syllable again? I want to make sure I get it right. Like he's doing it without even trying. The disciples ask him, how can you walk on water? And he said, well, first let me ask you a question. What's your opinion of the denarius and the drachma money? That's why you can't walk on water. The money is dragging them down.
Dr. Robert M. Price. Got a question from Sergio Zanier. I hope I'm saying that correct, Sergio. You've been waiting for this for a while, my friend. The parable of Peter walking on water is also present in much earlier Buddhist lore. Twopence allegories of faith in India. Accounts of paranormal ability of walking on water are as old as the ancient epic Mahabharata
or Mahabharata, I've heard of both.
Long before the time of Buddha. In the Dighankaya and Mahashimkaya, this ability is claimed for the Buddha, and in the Bhagavad and Mahavamsa. There are stories about this. When the world-honored Buddha had left Savatthi Sariputta, who was to become one of his foremost disciples, felt a desire to see the Lord and to hear him preach. Coming to the river where the water was deep and the current strong, he said to himself, "This stream shall not prevent me. I shall go and see the Blessed One." And he goes, and he sees the Blessed One. He stepped upon the water, which was as firm under his feet as a slab of granite. When he arrived at a place in the middle of the stream where the waves were high, Sariputta's heart gave way and he began to sink. But rousing his faith and renewing his mental effort, he proceeded as before and reached the other bank. Lockwood, 2010, 40-41. I guess it's a reference.
Yeah, Michael Lockwood has put together 3 volumes of really valuable stuff with about mythicism and Buddhist influence on Christianity. It's great stuff.
Interesting. So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you have any comments you'd make on this?
Yeah, that tempts you to wonder if it's actually borrowed, but then again, it's the kind of symbolism that is liable to occur to people. Like there's another one, a Sufi version. He talks with this humble hermit on an island, and he either knows how to walk on water or is trying to learn it, and he teaches the guy a formula to use, and as he's headed back to the mainland, the ascetic comes bounding over the water saying, excuse me, what was that last syllable again? I want to make sure I get it right. Like he's doing it without even trying. There's another one where in the Sufi sayings of Jesus where somebody asks, the disciples ask him, how can you walk on water? And he said, well, first let me ask you a question. What's your opinion of the denarius and the drachma money? And I say, oh, they're, it's good to have them. They're great. And he says, but to me, they're like the dust of the ground. That's why you can't walk on water. The money is dragging them down. So I mean, it's got to come up. It's like you can find it in the Iliad, where Hermes walks on water and so forth. So it's kind of a classic thing that's going to occur to people,
or even Yahweh walking on
the
water
that's right.
in the Psalms.
And
it makes you kind of wonder, because especially when you start getting back into what Christians anachronistically want to say, oh, well, that's an anthropomorphism. Mm-hmm. God wasn't really in the shape of a man walking with man and Adam and all that. That's all just so you understand something. No, A lot of the scholars that I've been researching are actually like, no, you don't understand. Of course, they would anachronistically do that as we have developed and come to know God in a more deeper philosophical way. And once that happens, we can't have God showing up as actual apparitions of being a human or being a substance of some sort. He's got to be completely invisible. But if the substance is so, like you talked about, so holy and righteous, it floats. It could go up. It doesn't have any weight, technically. It could walk on water. I wonder if that plays some role in antiquity's mindset of the divine. No wonder they can go to heaven. They're not weighted down with this, like what we see in the mummies in Egypt, that they're weighing their hearts. Or I don't know. I wonder if there's some type of common trope that...
Yeah, I think you just named it, yeah. The Osiris as the balance, and your heart is in one of on one of the plates, and a feather is on the other. And if your heart weighs down the feather, you're thrown to the devourer. But if not, if it's as light as the feather, go on in. And that is pretty much the same idea. And they think they see a ghost when they see Jesus on the water. But this is a real complicated passage in an odd sense, because they see Jesus walking epi, the water, upon or on the verge of. Like you suddenly think of John 21, where they're in a boat on the water, but they see Jesus on the shore, which you could as easily have said on the water. And they recognize him and say, oh my God, it's the Lord. What upsets him? Because he's dead the last time they knew, and here he is. So maybe that's what the one in the Synoptics meant, that it was a resurrection appearance, that Jesus was walking by the water. Too many possibilities.
Yeah, it's fun to speculate. It's just makes me think, is Dennis right about the whole storms? Because you don't have a Sea of Galilee. It's not a sea, it's a lake. Why are they calling it a sea? Maybe because they have other common literature tropes that they're looking at going, well, that's a sea. Obviously, they were out. The Odyssey has Odysseus and his men at sea. But the sea is not actually a sea at Galilee. We've always called it that as Christians reading the New Testament, but really it's just a lake. There would be no storms like this. There would be none of that happening here. So it's a trope of some sort, it seems.
And the use Matthew makes of it, where it's not just Jesus, but Peter also. And that's the real parallel to the Buddhist thing. In fact, even the guy, Sariputra, Christian Lintner said that is the same guy as Simon Peter, Sariputra. And so, I mean, that fits. And what's the point? As long as the disciple is focused on his Lord in devotion, everything will be fine. But the minute you get distracted, you're going to sink into life's sea of troubles. I mean, I am willing to bet that anytime anyone has ever heard a sermon on this text, that's the moral drawn, because it is so obvious and compelling. I mean, it's great stuff. But is it actually, leap tall buildings in a single bound? I mean, no doubt that's what they thought happened, but that's not really the point.
Well put. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, join MythVision's Patreon, not only to support us, but there are 72 videos that I did with Dr. Dennis R. McDonald and Richard Carrier, all on the Patreon, early access. You guys can ask personal questions when I go to interview these scholars, and you're helping MythVision grow.